I ruined my own marriage with a random question. That's what it feels like now. We were lying in bed. It was late. The kind of quiet where you can hear the hum of the fridge in the kitchen and the occasional car driving past outside. His arm was wrapped around my waist, my back pressed into his chest. We had been together for 10 years. 10, since I was 15. He was 16. We grew up side by side. First kiss, first heartbreak, first apartment, first everything. We were clingy, but in a sweet way. We didn't suffocate each other, we just liked being close. So I don't know what possessed me to ask it. Maybe it was the way the rain was hitting the window that night. Maybe I was just feeling soft. I turned around in his arms and whispered, "Can you describe in words how much you love me?" He laughed at first. "That's random." "I know," I smiled. "Just try." He got quiet, and that alone made my heart beat faster because he's not good with words. He never has been. He shows love by cooking dinner, by fixing things, by holding me. But that night, he said, "Do you know when it's raining and there's a bucket outside?" I frowned playfully. "Okay." "And the bucket keeps filling and filling until it can't hold anymore?" "Yeah." He pulled me closer. "My love is the rain. You're the bucket. That's how much I love you." And I cried. I actually cried because it felt pure, real, unfiltered. And for 2 weeks after that, I replayed it in my head like it was a song. Rain, bucket, overflowing. I didn't know that sometimes the rain doesn't stop because it loves the bucket. Sometimes it falls wherever it wants. And I didn't know that one day I would sit alone in that same bed, realizing I had misunderstood everything. If you've ever loved someone since you were basically still a kid, if you've ever built your entire identity around us instead of me, if you've ever ignored a feeling because you were afraid of what it might mean, you're not alone. On this channel, we tell the stories people are too afraid to say out loud, the kind that start soft, the kind that look perfect from the outside, the kind that don't explode overnight, they slowly unravel. These aren't just breakups, they're awakenings. They're about the moment you realize love isn't just about how deeply someone feels, it's about where they choose to pour it. If that resonates with you, subscribe to the Breakup Stories, because tonight's story might hit closer than you expect. I met him in chemistry class, sophomore year. I had braces and frizzy hair and zero confidence. He had that quiet boy energy, hoodies, messy brown hair, always doodling in the margins of his notebook. We got paired for a lab experiment about chemical reactions. I spilled something. He laughed. Not at me, with me. And that was it. That's how it started. There was no grand confession, no dramatic hallway kiss, just two awkward teenagers who slowly became inseparable. We started dating officially 3 months later. He asked me in the most him way possible, standing outside my house, hands shoved in his hoodie pocket. "So, do you want to make this, like, official or whatever?" I grinned. "You mean like boyfriend-girlfriend?" He nodded. "Yeah, that." I said yes, and from that moment on, we were a unit. We didn't fight much, we didn't break up and get back together like other high school couples, we just stayed. College tested us, but we survived it. Different campuses, long drives, FaceTime calls until we both fell asleep. When I was overwhelmed with finals, he'd drive 2 hours just to sit next to me in silence while I studied. When he failed his first major exam, he called me crying and I talked him through it until 3 a.m. We were each other's safe place. By 25, marriage felt natural. It wasn't dramatic, it was obvious. The wedding was small. Backyard, string lights, close friends. During his vows, he squeezed my hands and said, "You've been my favorite person since I was 16. I remember thinking, this is it. This is my forever. We moved into a modest house, painted the walls together, argued over couch colors, adopted a dog. Life wasn't flashy, but it was ours. We were still clingy, still affectionate. We cooked together almost every night. Even if one of us wasn't actively helping, we'd just stand close, touching. Our love language wasn't words, it was proximity. So when he said the rain and bucket thing, it hit deeper because he doesn't talk like that. It felt rare, secret. But 2 weeks after that moment, something shifted. At first, it was small. He started bringing his phone to the bathroom more often. Not unusual, but noticeable. He'd smile at texts and tilt the screen away slightly. Again, subtle, tiny, easy to ignore. And I did ignore it because we were us. One night at a friend's dinner party, someone joked, "You two are so codependent, it's kind of gross." Everyone laughed. I laughed too. But then he added, "Yeah, she'd probably panic if I didn't text her back for 10 minutes. It was lighthearted, but it stung. Because I don't panic. I just care. On the drive home, I said softly, "Do you really think I'm that dependent?" He sighed. "Babe, it was a joke. But you think too much." That phrase, it started appearing more often. You think too much. You're reading into it. It's not that deep. And every time I'd shrink a little, not visibly, but internally. Then came the late nights at work. At first, it was once a week, then twice, then 3 times in 1 week. "Big project," he'd say. "Okay," I'd reply. One Thursday, I drove by his office around 8 p.m. on my way back from Target. His car wasn't there. I told myself maybe he parked somewhere else. When he got home at 9:30, I asked casually, "Long day?" "Yeah, meetings ran late." I smiled and swallowed the doubt, because rain fills buckets. It doesn't disappear, right? But something in my chest was starting to feel heavy. Not cracked, just pressured. Like the bucket wasn't sure how much more it could hold. And I kept telling myself the same thing over and over. We've been together 10 years. 10. People don't just throw that away, right? After you've loved someone for 10 years, you start to believe you can feel them shift. Not because they tell you, but because your body knows before your brain catches up. And my body knew. I just didn't want to listen. It started with his phone. Not in an obvious way. He didn't suddenly lock it with some dramatic new passcode. He didn't flip it face down every time I walked into the room. He just held it closer, like it belonged to him alone. One night, we were on the couch. I was leaning against him, scrolling mindlessly on my own phone. He was texting someone. I felt him smile. You know that soft exhale laugh, the kind that happens before you even realize you're amused? He did that. Without thinking, I asked, "What's funny?" He didn't look up. Nothing. Nothing. I waited. He kept typing. A minute passed. I nudged him lightly. "Who are you texting?" He finally glanced at me. "Just work stuff." At 10 p.m., deadlines don't disappear because it's late. The tone wasn't angry, but it wasn't warm. It was defensive. I pulled back slightly. "Okay." And for the first time in 10 years, I felt like an outsider in my own marriage. The next week, he started going to the gym after work, which, to be fair, he had mentioned wanting to do for months. But suddenly, it was consistent. 3 times a week, then 4. He bought new workout clothes, started paying attention to what he ate. I should have been proud, and I was. But there was this quiet unease. Because he didn't invite me. He used to say, "Come with me." Now it was just, "I'll be back around 8. One night I said, "Maybe I'll join you tomorrow." He hesitated. Just for a second. "You hate the gym." "I could try." He shrugged. "If you want." That hesitation, it echoed. The real crack happened on a Tuesday. I was in the kitchen making dinner. He was in the shower. His phone was on the counter charging. I wasn't planning to touch it. I swear I wasn't. But a notification lit up the screen, and I saw the name. Jessica. The same one from before. "Can't stop thinking about earlier," smiley face. My hands went cold. My heart started pounding so hard I thought I might throw up. Earlier? Earlier what? I stared at the screen. It buzzed again. Today was fun. Fun. Work was fun. My brain scrambled for explanations. Maybe it was harmless. Maybe it was innocent. Maybe... The shower turned off. Panic shot through me. I put the phone down exactly where it had been. When he walked into the kitchen, towel around his waist, hair damp, I tried to steady my voice. "Who's Jessica?" He froze. Just barely, but I saw it. "A coworker. She texted you." "So?" It didn't sound like work. He exhaled sharply. "You went through my phone." "No, it popped up." He shook his head. "You're overreacting." There it was again, that phrase, like a script. "I'm not accusing you," I said quietly. "I'm just asking." "It's nothing." "Then why does it feel like something?" He looked at me like I had just insulted him. "Because you always do this." "Do what? Turn nothing into a problem?" I stood there, feeling smaller by the second. "I'm not trying to fight." "Then don't." And just like that, the conversation ended. Not resolved, not comforted, just shut down. That night, he turned away from me in bed, and I lay there staring at the ceiling, listening to the sound of my own breathing. The next few days were tense, not explosive, just tight, like walking on thin ice. He was polite, normal, kissed me goodbye in the morning, texted "home soon" in the afternoon, but the warmth was thinner, and once you feel the temperature drop, you can't unfeel it. 3 days later, I did something I never thought I would do. I opened his laptop. I told myself I just needed reassurance, proof that I was spiraling over nothing. His messages were open, and there it was. Not explicit, not sexual, but intimate. Private jokes, lunch plans. "Wish meetings were always this interesting. You're the only one who actually listens." And then, "I feel like I can actually talk to you." I stopped breathing. Actually talk to you. What had we been doing for 10 years? Sharing a house? Sharing a bed? Sharing oxygen? But not talking? I scrolled further. One message made my stomach drop. "Sometimes I wonder what it would have been like if we met earlier." My vision blurred. Earlier? Earlier than what? Earlier than me? I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just closed the laptop and sat there, completely still. When he got home, I was sitting at the dining table, the laptop open, waiting. He saw it immediately. His jaw tightened. "You went through my stuff." "Yes." Silence stretched between us. "You had no right." "No right?" My voice shook. "She's wondering what it would have been like if you met earlier." He ran a hand through his hair. "It's harmless. It's emotional. It's nothing. It's something," I whispered. He looked exhausted, like I was the problem. "I'm allowed to have friends." "I know." "Then why are you acting like this?" "Because she gets the parts of you I thought were mine. Because you smile at your phone and don't tell me why. Because I feel like I'm losing you in slow motion." But I couldn't say that. Instead, I asked the question I had been terrified to ask. "Do you have feelings for her?" He didn't answer right away. And that pause, it was louder than any confession. My chest tightened. "Answer me." He looked away. "It's complicated." That was it. That was the moment the bucket cracked. Not shattered, cracked. Hairline, but permanent. Complicated how? He rubbed his face. "I don't know. She just gets me. I've gotten you since you were 16. "I know." "Then what's missing?" He didn't say it, but I felt it. Novelty, space, freedom, something new. "I haven't done anything," he added quickly, like that was the point. "But you wanted to," I said. Silence. He didn't deny it. I felt something inside me collapse. Not dramatically, just quietly, like a building being emptied. That night, we slept in the same bed, but it felt like different continents. I stared at the window. It started raining, and for the first time, the sound didn't feel romantic. It felt mocking. Rain doesn't choose where it falls. it just falls. And maybe I had mistaken abundance for devotion. The next few days, I looked at myself in the mirror and barely recognized the girl staring back. Her eyes looked older, softer, scared, and I realized something terrifying. I wasn't just afraid of losing him, I was afraid of losing the version of myself that only existed inside us. And that fear, it kept me there longer than it should have, because even with the crack, even with the messages, even with the pause when I asked if he had feelings, I still wanted to believe the rain would choose me. But sometimes it's already pouring somewhere else. The actual end of my marriage didn't happen in one explosive fight. It happened in a quiet, ordinary moment, which somehow made it worse. For 3 weeks after I found the messages, we existed in this strange limbo. He was still there, still sleeping beside me, still kissing my forehead before work, texting "home soon" in the afternoon, but the warmth was thinner. And once you feel the temperature drop, you can't unfeel it. 3 days later, I did something I never thought I would do. I opened his laptop. I told myself I just needed reassurance, proof that I was spiraling over nothing. His messages were open, and there it was. Not explicit, not sexual, but intimate. Private jokes, lunch plans. Wish meetings were always this interesting. You're the only one who actually listens. And then, I feel like I can actually talk to you. I stopped breathing. Actually talk to you. What had we been doing for 10 years? Sharing a house? Sharing a bed? Sharing oxygen? But not talking? I scrolled further. One message made my stomach drop. Sometimes I wonder what it would have been like if we met earlier. My vision blurred. Earlier. Earlier than what? Earlier than me? I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just closed the laptop and sat there, completely still. When he got home, I was sitting at the dining table, the laptop open, waiting. He saw it immediately. His jaw tightened. "You went through my stuff." "Yes." Silence stretched between us. "You had no right." "No right?" My voice shook. "She's wondering what it would have been like if you met earlier." He ran a hand through his hair. "It's harmless. It's emotional. It's nothing. It's something," I whispered. He looked exhausted, like I was the problem. "I'm allowed to have friends." "I know." "Then why are you acting like this?" "Because she gets the parts of you I thought were mine. Because you smile at your phone and don't tell me why. Because I feel like I'm losing you in slow motion." But I couldn't say that. Instead, I asked the question I had been terrified to ask. "Do you have feelings for her?" He didn't answer right away. And that pause, it was louder than any confession. My chest tightened. "Answer me."